This
Got it.
is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, here on December the 6th, 2023. I wish I was in Toronto, though, like my background, because, growing way too weary of, well, we got 9 provinces in Canada, plus one big space called New Brunswick that I don't even count as a province anymore. But my guest today made a film here, and I'll tell you, I love my guest today, and I am so happy to have her on for a third time. And meeting her in 2010 was a blast. She made plaster rock here. She was, of course, let's show off these Drive-in
Mhm.
Massacre
That's
and
right.
Trick or Treats.
Mhm.
Yes. But I don't think she's coming trick or treating in New Brunswick anytime soon because, well, she's got onto much greener pastures. Folks, I give you the awesome Jackie Giroux. How do you do, Jackie?
Hello. Hello. Thanks for that great introduction. I also made American Sunset. That was retitled Hostage Games. It was Corey Haim's last
Mm-hmm.
movie. We shot that there as well. So, and we did Blue Seduction with Billy Zane,
Mm-hmm.
Estella Warren. Of course, they were in horror movies, right? So,
You know what? I've had a couple actors from those on this year. Bronwyn was on here
oh
this
yeah.
year. Yep, I've known Bronwyn for a long time, and she just got a book out, and
Hmm.
I had her on back in August, and in September I had Josh Litton on, who was
Hmm.
in Blue Seduction. So
Right.
yeah, I like
Yes.
both of them. Mm-hmm.
Great. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Bronwyn in a long time. What is her book about? You know?
I think it's a little bit of sci-fi. I think there's a little bit of spirituality to it.
Mhm.
I should connect you to it. You got her on Facebook? She's under the name B Waters.
Yeah, I think I do. Bee Waters sounds familiar, so I'll look her up. Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to hear about her book. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, so I got a few things, a few irons in the fire. We're about off to go to Australia. We just got an Australian offer to shoot a picture there next year. So, and they like sci-fi, so we're teaming up with them. They have money. It's a new company. So yeah, I'd love to talk to her. Thank you for that reintroduction.
I will connect you because she is awesome, very well spoken, and it was great to have her on this year. Um, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't come down too hard on this province, but it's kind of worn out its welcome in my 51 years, and I've forgotten, like, I know that you weren't the most impressed of New Brunswick filming up here either. Would you like to relay what the issue was?
Well, it's the union, the union stepped in and blackballed me. They said you have to become a union person, you have to hire union people. And I was um someone who is very supportive of people like yourself. Uh you can't afford to go pay a union
Mm-hmm.
1, 2 pictures a year. I mean, so I fought them. And when I went to the Toronto Film Festival with Blue Seduction, there was an article by the union who said we'll never allow her to make another picture here again because I was uncooperative, because I was for the little guy and not for big business. So basically, that started the whole ball rolling. They challenged my citizenship card. They challenged me making money there, even though all the money I made, I brought in from LA. The reason I was brought to New Brunswick. You remember Ghislaine Labie? He was a head of the New Brunswick Film Committee.
Okay.
And all he was doing was putting money into short films. And we ran into each other. I was shooting in Montreal, and we ran into each other, and he said, "Can you bring distribution and feature films to New Brunswick?" I said, "Yes, I can." And yes, I did, Craig. Every film I made there got distribution.
Hmm.
So they terminated me for giving people like you a job because I wouldn't join the union. And look at what's happened to Canada today. Big business, right? Same thing as the States, big business. Where's everything headed? Big business. What's happening for the little guy? There's no more middle class. It's either you're poor or you're wealthy. And you got to be a union person, play the game with the politicians in order to be recognized today, in my opinion. Why do you think I'm going to Australia?
To see the
Anyway, but
kangaroos.
politics, don't get me started on politics. You don't want to hear my viewpoints because I think the corruption is the number one. I think we should replace the statues of Jesus Christ with the dollar bill sign because that's what everybody's kneeling to, the
Yeah.
dollar bill.
Well, people certainly aren't acting like Christ. I know that, you know.
Mhm.
So that's certainly for sure. But
Yes,
yeah, I'm not impressed with the politics in Canada either. And I lived in New Brunswick my whole life, but I'm going to tell you, I'm bound and determined to get out of here. And because I got introduced to Toronto by my friend actress Lisa Langlois, and
yes.
yeah, I love Lisa. I just did my third con with her in Niagara Falls in October, and I've been trying to get myself located there and sturdy myself so I could live. If I could find a bachelor or studio apartment, gotta be somebody. I didn't know there's such a thing as apartment um, scammers until I started looking into this, and but a lot of people keep, and I got this a lot. I got this a lot in my last job. You know, they were criticizing the fact I preferred Toronto over New Brunswick. Well, nothing is happening in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Whereas with
Hmm.
me as a podcaster, Toronto's the place to be,
Hmm.
you know? And not
Hmm.
only that, I'm sick of the fact that nobody even knows what New Brunswick, Canada is.
I
It's
think
like,
I told you I think I told you a story when I was up there and I was getting ready. I can't remember which movie, and I called up Kiefer Sutherland. I said, "Hey, your dad's from here. He was from St. John, Donald.
mhm,
And he said, "I'm never going there." Kiefer said, "I'm never going there." I go, "Why?" He said, "They're backwards. Nobody knows anything about New Brunswick. It could be a great place."
you hit the nail right on the head. New Brunswick is a backwards province,
Hmm.
you know? And I find it embarrassing.
Hmm.
Uh, it- even the film festival you were at, I watched it go from promising to now it's like local this, local that. I'm like, you're not going to get people there doing that,
No. Yeah, they're right back to where they started before I went in there.
you know?
Little short films that nobody sees but them, family and
Exactly.
friends. That's it. Well,
Exactly.
you got to branch out. I mean, there are those that are trying, but, and I understand it's difficult, but when the government decides that people like myself shouldn't be there because I won't attach myself to their hip and do as they instruct me to do, um, you won't get the people like me because we can go other places. I make films in LA, Florida. I've made a film in Germany, France. I
Mhm.
This will be my second picture in Australia. Why would I go to New Brunswick? I
Well,
loved it there. It was like a little family. We could have kept it going. I had distribution. Nobody up there has distribution. I still have distribution. And yet I'm the one they pushed out because they don't want people like you to be successful. Why? Oh, because you have a voice. They don't want you to have a voice. They don't want you.
I've got a voice that says pro Toronto, no more New
Okay.
Brunswick, Yep.
All right, yeah.
Yep. No more New Brunswick. But I will say, Bromwin, I think, is onto something, and I gotta connect you because I know she spoke highly. So
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Josh Linton, and that's the thing with my podcast. I have had local talent come on here, and I've had people from LA, New York, Germany, Australia. I've had all
Hmm.
kinds of people on here. I'm all open to having anybody come on here. In fact, I've even had
Sure.
people at some of the jobs I've worked on here come on here because they had some side hustles. But I can't support a province that's it's like the kid who's too shy to speak up in class. And I'm like, well, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make the horse drink. So Toronto to me is I don't care what they say here in New Brunswick, Toronto is better than New Brunswick. I'm just going to say it. It's better than New Brunswick by
You have
far.
more opportunities there for sure. You have more
Yep.
opportunities and to grow. You can't
Yep.
grow in New Brunswick. That's the problem. You don't get applauded for growing. Now, unfortunately, just Lane passed away. And when he passed away, it all went into the toilet because the new people running it don't even really know how to do those tax credits to lure producers back, writers back like I was and am. And that was a real shame. And instead of bringing themselves up and elevating to try to become a small Toronto, they took the other route and went down.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, if people can name the 10 provinces in Canada, I won't fault them if they name 9 and don't name New Brunswick.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
but you know what? It's interesting because I know you commented on something that I put on Facebook the other week, and
Hmm.
I don't want to get too far into politics, but it is something that's going on today right now, and I would love to get your intake on this because I'm a big fan of Martin Scorsese's work,
Hmm.
but I got an issue with an article. I actually lost 4 friends on Facebook over this post, and I don't think any of them had the brain power to know exactly what I was saying. And I'm a big fan of Martin Scorsese's work, but I said I have not watched The Killers of the Flower Moon because I said all I'm hearing about is Lily Gladstone. And I got no doubt that she's a talent. But this article that I read online was that they could make history at the Oscars by having the first Indigenous woman win Best Actress. And I'm like, okay, my argument is she winning because she's Indigenous or is she winning because she put in a great performance? And there is a difference. I lost 4 friends because I made that argument.
Well, it's kind of silly to lose anybody because the greatest thing that we have available to us is our voice. And if someone disagrees with you, they should argue the point. But just to walk away from the situation is almost a vindication to you that you might be right because they don't know how to argue the point. The whole thing about racism is a trick. It's to make the human person feel guilty so that the other person controlling this, like the government, makes themselves look important and they put you under their control. I told you the same thing. I'm not in Hollywood right now for a very good reason. You cannot make a movie there without hiring certain ethnic groups, not just as actors, crew members as well. It doesn't matter whether they're right for the position or not. It matters that you have to hire them to get the tax credit. And if the money is my money and I'm signing those checks, why should I be instructed of how to spend my money? And you can't even get into the Academy Awards if you don't have diversity in your picture. You could have the best picture in the world. I could go out and make a picture for zillions of dollars that recoup billions of dollars, And I can't get in if there's not a black, an Asian, Lithuanian. It doesn't even matter. It's whatever the flavor of the year is. And that is obstruction of art. There is
Yep.
no more artistic when you control what people can say, do, and how to spend their money. So, yes, I agree with you. If you have that opinion, I'm thinking the people that walked away are pretty shallow, not to be able to have the guts to stand up and say, I believe in diversity. And you
Hmm.
can say, why? Why? How does diversity help you? What does it do for you? And let them explain their point, but they can't explain their point because deep down inside, they don't believe what they're thinking. They believe what the politicians have told them to think. And that is the problem with the world today.
Yep.
Not just US, not just Canada, it's in France. UK is a mess. It's a
Hmm.
mess. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, anyway, we could, like I said, you don't want to get deep into politics, but if you do, I'm the person to talk to because I'm out there every day posting politician, that I think are. I look at what Newsom, Governor Newsom, what he did to Los Angeles, California.
Oh, I've
I mean,
heard.
my
Yeah.
God, it is a shithole. Okay, I
Hmm.
just got back. I still have condo there. You have to pay people to pick up their tent to get out of your parking lot, to get into your parking lot.
Hmm.
And you can't call a cop because they've all been defunded. The 405 looks like Fast and Furious. All these kids have these hot rod cars driving, like Fast and Furious. And if you're in their way, they'll just smack into you and keep going. There's no discipline anymore. There's no morality. There's no integrity. And he wants to run for president of the United States. Oh, let's figure this out. You destroy a great state like California, and you want to be the president to destroy the country?
Hmm.
And yet he has the backing of many people because he's slick. He's slick.
Well, it's interesting because if people had read what I said, I never said a negative thing about Lily Gladstone. I just said, is she in for her talent or because she's indigenous? And I had somebody tell me, well, you're biased because you're an Emma Stone fan. Well, I want to see her win because she did Poor Things, and I'd love to see her get her second Oscar. But here's the thing, I've heard that she gives the performance of her career in Poor Things, and if she did, I would hate to see her lose because of race politics. That
And
would
you're going to
piss
see
me.
that. You're
That
going to
would
see it.
piss me off. Yeah,
You're going
because
to see it. I guarantee it. But hey, everybody, you know, you have a choice. You can be a leader or you can be a follower. Unfortunately, most people are comfortable with being followers, really. So that's why our countries are in decline right now. Most of them are following those politicians. You think Trudeau wants to get out of office? Think about how cushy his life is right now. I mean, what do they call him? The F train or something? I mean, he gets to screw any woman he wants, and he's paid to do it. It's your money paying him, but he's paid to do it.
oh, the whole
Why
thing
would
with
you
the
want to leave?
Nazi in the Common House was an embarrassment.
Hmm?
Did you hear that?
Yes, I do. Hmm.
I hope, I hope that Pierre Polyev, does what he says he's going to do because I got no doubt he can get in. But if he's going to axe a tax and do something about the housing thing,
Yes.
then I'm more than happy
Hmm.
to vote
Hmm.
him in because right now I do not like what the Trudeau government is doing.
No, nobody does. And I don't even figure out how he remains there, but he pays off the right people. Let me tell you something right now, and I'm just going to flat out say it. People say, how does Joe Biden have 33% of the vote? If you look at the bureaucrats that he hires and
Hmm.
pays, That's 33% of the government. We are so over-governmented in the United States of America, and nobody wants to vote him out because he's paying them. That's how he gets the votes. How does Newsom remain the governor? He was recalled. He was recalled. And what did he do? He turned around and said, "Hey, I want to give a lot of money to the blacks, you know." And so just to get reelected, they give out money. That's how they win. And people, the common sense just seems to escape everybody, you know. Um, at what point are we going to run out of money from paying people anyway to vote for us? I don't know. You know, it's just, we're not in a good situation right now.
Well, I know one thing. I refuse to be homeless. I
Yes, right.
refuse. I look at those movies, the Purge movies, and I'm like, I would hate to see it come to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that that's still not a cushy place for the rich if it does come for that, because you
Hmm.
know who the
Yes.
poor is going to go after.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. Right.
yep.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I'm hoping. I actually have not followed the politics thing until I was trying to move to Toronto and trying to
Um,
find apartment, and I got this YouTube link come up on my feed about between Poilievre and Trudeau, and I just kind of
yeah.
clicked it, and I've been following it ever since. And I'm like, I don't know. If I were a politician, I would want the people to like me. I want to do stuff that's going to benefit people. I don't understand the mindset of the standard politician. Money, 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 money. Yeah, but if you make the people happy, you stay in power and it's more money for you because people
But
will
he
be happy
can't
to.
stay in power. He can't stay in power because smarter people won't vote for him no matter what, because he will not follow policy. He does whatever he wants to do. He opens the borders just like Biden did. He lets all the illegals in and he gives them money to vote for him. That's what's going on. And
Mhm.
the smarter people would not keep him in power because he doesn't have any smart ideas how to save the country. These are not smart men. If you're a smart man, you're right. He wouldn't have to worry about doing that. But he's
Mhm.
not smart. He's corrupt. Let's call it for what it is. He's buying votes. That's called corruption.
Yep. Yep.
We have
But
it in the United States, you know, as well. So, you know, I understand. How do you change the countries around? And when I say countries, there's more than one. I mean, the UK. I mean, oh, that's a mess. I mean, that's you don't even want to go there to vacation or anything. It's so dangerous there. And they banned guns a long time ago. And yet you take your life in your hands. I've known 4 people to go to the UK who got shot, illegally shot. Where do the people get the guns? Oh, we don't know. Well, you open your borders and let them in. That's where they're coming. So anyway, like I said, don't get me started. I'm a big proponent of telling it like it is, and I'm very politically motivated in the United States, and I do support certain people that I think can turn the country around, and unfortunately, those people become a target. So if you don't do what the people in charge want you to do, you're a target.
someday, and I don't want to get religious, but I'll say it. Someday Jesus is going to make his return,
Mm.
and I'm going to tell
Well,
you, he's going to burn away all the corruption.
well, I look
But
forward to that day. I look forward to that day. There's no
I
doubt in
do
my
too.
mind that if that happens, when it happens, I'm on that good list.
Well, you know
I,
what?
you know,
My dad used to take us to church when I was young, and dad passed away in April of 2022 after battling
mm,
8 years of ALS. But he
oh,
remained strong to his faith right to the very end.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's not too many days that go by where I'm thinking, boy, I'm so glad he's not down here in this mess. He's up there
Ah,
in paradise with the Lord, you
I-
know? But
yes, I agree.
yep.
I agree. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
But
I'm
none
sorry
the
for your loss, but all of us are going to go there, so none of us are going to be spared. And I'm like you. When the chips fall, hey, I'm ready. I have nothing to hide. Nothing. I'm not guilty about anything, and I just feel I speak my mind, and my voice is mine, and I will always do it. And that's why I have trouble everywhere I go, because I like the little guy. I'll always be for the little guy. And you want to know why? Because I was a little guy.
Yep.
Where I came from, you wouldn't believe where I came from and where I am today. And I plan to give back. I've always tried to give back. And people say, well, you went to Canada and took your tax credits. Well, yeah, but I brought in money. Every picture I brought in from the United States, I brought in a distributor, right? So I didn't really take Canadian money. I took US money. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, did you? Really? We opened Plaster Rock in what was, Grand, wherever it was. Um, I paid for that. I paid for that theater to open that. That didn't come from Canadian money.
Only thing I remember in that movie is Jessica Holt was gorgeous.
Yeah, right. And how is she doing? Do you ever see her or?
No, I don't think she likes me.
Well, I don't. I think you're being overreacting. You came on kind of hard, you're right,
You know
but
what?
you
I
let her
did.
know.
But you
You
know
let her
what?
know you were interested, right?
Oh, I can't blame her for not being interested in me. There's a reason my cat stays with me. I feed him treats. Treats don't work on women. I can shake
No,
that treat bag the cat comes. Women doesn't work on women.
well, hey, you let it be known. It could have gone the other way too.
You know what? I'm a very much a loner. I'm very set in my ways. I think she's better
Yeah.
off. But I certainly thought she was stunning. Always did. But you mentioned you was going to be doing a picture in because according to IMDb, the last thing you got listed on there is the Corey Haim film, American Sunset. So,
Mhm.
you've been working on anything since then?
Yeah, we had a picture that called Mystique that's
Mhm.
on Amazon Prime, and they
Okay.
paid in advance for it. So, yeah, we had that picture. We had fake news that went to France. I don't think those things are on IMDb. I don't really go to IMDb.
Okay.
Rockland Boulevard was there. They took it down, and that's the picture we're making in Australia. And I don't know who took it down. I think because Harvey is attached as a director, Harvey Lowry, who's done a great deal of stuff. He was at the Toronto Film Festival with a thriller about influencers killing each other off. But I think he put it on his page and they took it off of my page. And because I'm not diligent of going to IMDb, these things happen. But right now I got Purgatory too, that has Guy Pearce gave us a letter. He's interested in it, but I don't have the financing yet for Purgatory. But you have to remember something. I'm also a writer. So you don't see many things. There's a script there that I wrote from a book called Jackpot,
Hmm.
and that's Kiefer is interested in doing it, Kiefer Sutherland. So, I mean, you don't see everything because I spend a lot of time writing. 9 months can take me to a year to do screenplays,
I love
you
that. You
know.
got Kiefer Sutherland and Guy Pearce both interested in
Yeah.
your work. I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you mentioned
Yeah.
you've been to Australia before. I've done a few
Yeah.
interviews from Australia. Little Nell comes to mind from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I had her
Oh,
on here
yeah.
and I could hear all the noises, Australian noises, in the
Yeah.
background. Did you see any interesting animals in Australia?
Oh, yeah. My gosh. Australia is the reason I gave up scuba diving because I was going out, I was in Cairns. We were doing turkey shoot. Anthony Ganane was the producer, and I was getting ready to go scuba diving because I used to do that often.
Hmm.
And Tony says to me, "You can't do that. That there are plants here that if they touch you, you automatically die." I went, what? And he goes, fish that can come up and I never went in the water again after that.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, animals, sure, kangaroos hop around like dogs do here. If you're not in the city, not in Sydney or Melbourne, but on the outskirts. My gosh, and those little koala bears. I mean, you understand if whatever they're eating, if that plant ever dies down, they will die because they only eat that. So, I mean, yeah, I saw a lot of that, you know. But also, I'll tell you what really was bad because I had to get a doctor's care. The humidity is the worst I've ever seen anywhere in the world. Even the Caribbean has less humidity than Australia during the summer. It's really, really bad. You have to take pills if you're not used to it. You have to gradually get used to it. Your blood has to get used to it, you know, and mosquitoes. Ah, yeah,
well,
that's bad in Australia.
I'll say this. There's a good reason not to scuba dive in Australia because I mean they've got the box jellyfish, which is one of the most poisonous creatures on the planet, and
Hmm.
you got the saltwater crocodile, which is the largest of the crocodilians. I
I
believe
didn't
you
see
got,
them.
yeah, you get sharks, and of course you've got um some of the most poisonous snakes in the world in
Yes,
Australia.
I didn't see any of those, and thank God I didn't.
Plus, you get the cassowary, which is a very dangerous bird.
I don't even know a castleberry. I don't know what it is.
Cassowary? Well,
Oh,
it's one of those birds, and when it attacks, I've seen people with like garbage can lids holding up to block off the attack. Like those things are aggressive.
really?
Oh yeah. Yep. They live in, I
Wow.
think, Queensland, Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are an aggressive bird.
What color are they? Are they black?
They get a blue head.
Blue hair. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they kind of look like I shouldn't say an ostrich, but they kind of like an
Oh,
ostrich can kick. But I mean, you don't hear
oh,
a
okay.
whole lot about ostriches attacking, but these things
Right.
will attack apparently. So,
Wow.
yep, yep. So,
Yeah.
they're
Well, no, it's a pretty dangerous place, but we're going to be shooting right in Melbourne. So the other film was out in the outskirts. So this one we're staying within the concepts of the city. So I hope that's a little bit different. Yeah.
hmm yeah, yeah. But but nonetheless, I've never been to Australia, but I've done some interviews. That's one of the things I love about Zoom. I could just
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're what in Florida right now? What's it like
I
there?
am. Yeah, I am. Hmm.
We get
And
snow on
it's
the ground.
Oh no, no, it's warm here. I mean, today happens to be a colder day and it's like 68 or something degrees. And then excuse me, Thursday it's going back up to 80. The winters in Florida are very volatile. You never know what it's going to do, be cold or warm. It goes back and forth. Of course, our summers are pretty hot. We can hit 100 easily, you know. So the reason I like it here, Greg, is because I have a lot of trees around my house. First of all, there's no houses close to each other. We're all surrounding a lake, and it's not a man-made lake, it's an actual spring lake. And all the houses are blocked by trees. So you have a great deal of privacy. We have a dead end road, so we get no traffic. And we have little foxes and we have deer. We have bear, but they're small bear and they are very friendly. They don't bite you or chase you. You know, they climb trees and stuff like that. So they go in the lake and they catch the fish and the deer drink the water and eat the problem is if you have a garden, the deer will eat the garden and the bear will eat the garden. So it's hard to raise a garden, but it's a really nice private area. Everybody minds their own business. But yet, if somebody sees something, they get you on the phone right away. Hey, there's some guy parked in front of your house. I'm gated. So, but there's some guy parked, he's been parked there a long time. Do you mind if I call the police? And the police are here within 10 minutes. We have not defunded the police in Florida. As you know, Governor DeSantis is running for president of the United States, and that's our governor. And his outlook is pretty similar to mine. If people are crossing that line illegally, you shoot them.
Hmm.
Sounds real. I'm sure your friends would disown me on Facebook too, but you break the law, bring drugs in to kill somebody.
Yep.
Bye. Bye. That's the
Yep.
way it goes. Bye. I have a gun. I have 4 guns. I have a police dog. I have cameras and I have drones. As I said to everybody, anybody crosses this fence, if the dog don't get him, I will. They won't be going back. I'll throw him in the lake.
I heard a story years and years ago about
Mhm,
somebody in New York who um, who was having problems with his business being robbed at night,
mhm.
and he put up cameras, and they managed to defuse that. They, you know,
Really,
so
huh? Mhm.
he put in anytime he tried to put something like that surveillance, whoever was breaking in, it was more than one person, they would counter it, and there would be damages and stuff would get stolen. So he got some Dobermans. The problem is the Dobermans were dead the next day because they threw poison meat in there.
Right. Mhm.
So the guy decided to fight poison with poison. And when he left the shop, there was he unleashed some Eastern diamondback rattlesnakes in there. Needless to say, the robbing stopped after
Yeah.
that. Yep.
Wow. But then he had to go find them. He had to go
Well,
find the snakes. I mean, you put yourself at risk. Let me tell you about police dogs. They do not accept food from anybody but their master. Now they can have more than one master. You could put a steak in front of my dog. He's not touching it. He'll take your arm off, though. If he doesn't invite you over to him, you'll hear it. And if you keep walking, your hand's gone. They're trained. They're trained for a very good reason. There was one dog here, like I have a Belgian Malinois, and the dog actually opened the cop's car. The cop got out, and somebody jumped him, and the dog opened the door and got that guy. They don't mess around. These dogs will take a bullet and keep going. I don't know if you saw Keanu Reeves' picture, the John Wick one with Halle Berry. They had 2 Belgians there, and they
okay.
actually can climb a wall. They can climb a wall straight up. They get so much speed. They're all muscular. They're not long-haired German shepherds. They're very short-haired, coarse, very powerful, muscular. And when they take off, they run like, and they'll go straight up a wall.
Well, I have a guard cat, but
Yeah,
I have
they can be pretty nasty. I
yeah,
have
but
cats. They can be pretty nasty.
I don't know because I to me guarding and sleeping and being lazy seem to be all in one with my cat.
Yeah. They're great companions, though, huh?
I
They
love
are.
my kitty. I love my kitty.
I know.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, speaking of Florida, I got a couple people from Florida coming on the show this Saturday. So
Good.
a couple people in the wrestling community, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's big.
Yep. But nonetheless, no, I've never been to Australia. I haven't outside Toronto. I haven't been too many places, but Lisa helped me get set up on my passport. So I'm hoping to
Oh,
do a
nice.
convention with her in the States. I'm a little nervous to
Yeah.
travel to the States because I keep hearing bad things.
It's Look, I was in New York 3 years ago this month,
Hmm.
and I saw it changing then, even though it was during allegedly the COVID time, everything was finally opened. And the crime was running rampant. I never ever had to walk down a street with my hands in my pocket like you've got a gun. But I tell everybody that goes to New York, do that because a lot of people carry guns, snub noses off in their pockets. And somebody comes up to them, they don't take the gun out, they shoot right through the pocket. So New York is one of them that you have to watch out for. Now, having said that, I have a lot of friends in New York that still live there, will never leave because they love it. They have businesses but they realize when they go out, they have to look both ways, like crossing a street just to get out of their building. You're always looking over your shoulder in New York today. LA is bad too. I mean,
Yeah.
Governor DeSantis just said, he was amazed when he went out there for the debate that women were telling him they had to take off their jewelry to go to the store.
Oh,
And of course,
wow.
I don't know if you've heard this. And like I said, I just got back from LA. I went in, I lost my charger to my cell phone. I have two cell phones, and one of them I lost the charger to. And I went into Walmart to buy a charger. Everything's behind glass. You got to wait for somebody to unlock the glass. So I left. There were too many people in line. I went to Walgreens. I went to Target. Everything behind glass. A charger, a $5 to $10 charger, locked up. Everything, toothpaste, locked up.
Oh, gee. Got to start ordering stuff
Yeah.
online if it comes down to
Yeah.
that.
Nobody ever wants to go out anymore, which I think is another ploy to keep people under control.
I don't know.
I think all that's,
I like going to the
yeah,
movie theater, you know?
yeah. Well, and right now that seems to be pretty safe. But when people start really going back in droves, what's going to happen? Uh, I think it's a ploy to keep people at home and keep control over people. The smash and grab we had in LA, you must have heard about that,
Yes, I
right?
did.
I mean,
Yep.
even on Rodeo Drive, running cars, drop these people off. They run in, they're fast, they're like ninjas. Run in, smash the glass, take out all the jewelry,
Wow.
and the cops were defunded. So it takes a long time for the cops to get there. They're long gone.
Maybe the people dressed in black, maybe they're trying to style up their theft with the jewelry.
Well, anyway, we live in a different society.
Yeah, we live in
And
a horrible society, you know?
yeah, yeah,
But
we do. We do.
yeah,
You either think like the politicians or you're the enemy, you're the target, and that's wrong. The free thinking days seem to be getting smaller and smaller. And you'll never become a leader thinking like someone else.
no.
Never.
I,
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say, I was looking over your credits and it dawned
Yeah.
on me that 'cause you were in Live and Let Die in LA.
Yeah.
We just lost. Speaking of, he did The
Yeah, we did.
Exorcist. I got
Yes.
this from
Yes. Billy
Eileen D.
freaking.
We just lost
Yeah.
him.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, he was a force stronger. I mean, talk about somebody who was strong and didn't care. I mean, I remember he was telling me stories about The Exorcist and the Seven Ups, all the movies he did. People wanted to tell him he can't do it like that, and he said, "Yeah, I can." What I most enjoyed about Billy Freakin, if I could, I just thought he was such an incredible director because he directed with, he would come right up to you and look in your face and say, "Now you're going to have a great deal of energy in this. He's going to come up behind you. I'm not going to tell you when, and you scream and you run. And he would watch your face start to change, and he'd walk back and he'd say to Robbie Mueller, the DOP, roll that camera. He would get you that face that he wanted to see. He molded actors. And when you look at everyone he discovered, he told me on The French Connection that Gene Hackman said, I'll never work with you again. You ruined my career. And then he came out and won an Oscar. They didn't understand the power this director had. Willem Dafoe on To Live and Die in LA, the same thing. He's told me I'll never work with this maniac again. And just last week or 3 weeks ago, they were out arm in arm, and because Willem just realized he does this to get performances out of you. He was an
Yeah.
incredible, and by the way, everybody he hired was an unknown. Everybody. He made Billy Peterson's career, made Gene Hackman's. He's got Linda Blair. I mean, Jason Miller. You can go down the line. He didn't work with actors who were stars.
Well, he did work with Al Pacino in Cruising.
Oh, that's true. Okay, yes, okay. So give him a break there. But most of the time he discovered a lot of talent, which is gutsy for a director, because usually they want to go and work with the A list talent. But yeah, well, Pacino, that's a different element. I was just talking about him too. I think it was to Sebastian McLean. I did a podcast for him,
Oh, I know
and he was,
him. Yeah.
yeah, and he was asking me about acting, and I said, well, if you look at Al Pacino, I'm talking about the old Pacino, like you're talking about, Cruising, and uh, all his older movies, even before
Godfather.
Godfather.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even before then, Panic in Needle Park, that was an incredible actor who was not good looking. He was short. He was a nobody. He had a lot of problems. He used to go to Joe Allen's and drink shots of whiskey looking at the wall. I mean, he was incredible. Um, and yet a fantastic actor. He has found himself. Now he laughs at himself, and he has a lot of guts. Of course, he's 80 something years old, but when he was a kid, he was really insecure. But when they rolled that camera, wow, it just was a whole other person, just a whole other person. And he had a tremendous strength because he was bold. He took chances. He wasn't like looking in a mirror, should I look like this? Should I say the line like that? He wasn't thinking about it. He just went out there and whammo like a cannon, delivered it. And that was his strength. So was Dustin Hoffman's another one. I
Oh,
actually
I
auditioned
love
with
him.
Dustin
Yep.
Hoffman. Yeah, he was an incredible talent too. Short. He was shorter than me. And incredible talents, incredible talents. And I'm not saying we don't have good talents today. We do, but it's a different type of actor. It's just they're all hired with the big time money, and they do the part to get rewards, monetary rewards, where in the olden days they did it to because they wanted to be, an actor, and the actor's studio backed them up and honed their craft and stuff. All those people are dead now, and it just seems nobody is like following suit. Nobody works at their craft. What
No.
they just say about Renee Zellweger? What happened to her career? She was offered the Broadway show Chicago, and she turned it down because she was afraid. Why was she afraid? There are drama coaches like Sandra Seacat that will go out there and work with her and drop that fear from her. But actors don't do it. They're more interested in getting bodyguards to keep the people away from them. It's a whole different era. Nobody ever had a bodyguard, you know, in New York City. Everybody walked the streets. Even Pacino after Godfather walked the streets. De Niro after Godfather walked the streets. Today, they come out of their apartments. It's like two guys on each side.
Yeah.
Different world. Different world.
Speaking of bodyguards, You still babysit?
Yeah, that kid is now an adult with his own kids.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's amazing.
You don't stop over there and babysit his kids?
I think he's in Seattle now. No, I don't go to Seattle either.
No.
Mm.
This is the Blu-ray. They did a nice job on this on the Blu-ray for it, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny because
Do they have the commentary that we did? Does it say commentary? Well, they didn't
yep,
do
yep.
yeah,
It says
yeah.
audio
We did that in my
commentary.
we did that yeah, we did that at Raleigh Studios at my office. Yeah. Steve Railsback, Jason, whatever his last name is, Jason
Pete.
Peters and
Yep.
yeah. And then but Carradine had already died and so did Carrie Snodgrass. They were
Hmm.
already passed, so we didn't have them and to
Let
do
me.
any commentary.
I don't really remember if I asked you this before, but I'll bring it up here. What were your memories of David Carradine and Carrie
Oh, I
Snodgrass?
loved him. Oh, I loved him. I absolutely loved him. He he didn't keep anything. He didn't hide anything. He'd walk on the set. He would take drugs if he felt. He would take a hit of scotch if he felt, and then he'd sort of giggle about it and he'd say, we don't need to rehearse this, do we, honey? I go, no, let's just do it. And he would come up behind me and smell my hair and whisper in my ear. He was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. He was just an organic actor, really. Yeah.
I always felt bad for Peter Jason in this film
Oh,
because it's
Peter
like
Jason. Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I love Carrie Snodgrass, but her character should have got some comeuppance in this film. I'll tell you that because I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know why Peter Jason's character got put away at the beginning of that movie, but there's something about it that just wasn't solved, in my opinion,
Yeah.
and it was
Well, it was
always something.
he was her husband.
I
He was
know that.
Carrie's husband. Okay, you remember that? Yeah.
Yep.
And then she was having an affair with, or she was married to Carradine, I guess her second husband. And he wanted to get out and get even with her. But Gary Graver had a great sense of humor. And he couldn't make up his mind if he wanted to do a humorous horror picture or a serious horror picture. And we only shot on weekends. We got less than $100,000 to make the film with. So we only did weekends. We had to sneak on the lot at Raleigh Studios. We had to make sure Carrie Snodgrass's real life husband, Neil Young, wasn't at home so we could shoot in the house because he didn't want us there. And she did. She wanted to act. She was a brilliant actress. And she'd say, okay, Neil's leaving to go on tour. Come on over. I mean, yeah, this is something I pictures.
It just dawned on me that both John F. Golf and
Oh,
Drive-in
and
Massacre, who I've had on here,
oh,
and
he's wonderful.
yeah, and Peter Jason are both dressed up in drag. Which one do you think made the prettiest woman? Come on, Jackie, you tell me.
Oh, I
Which
can't. I
one?
can't. I can't. No, Jason just wrote me an email. I can't. And John just sent me. John's very much into politics, so I can't take a side here.
Oh, come
You know,
on. If
you
they
should have
were
a contest. You should put them both up and have people vote.
if they were to do the runway and come out there and shake a leg right in front of you.
I think I think Chase is a bit more outgoing than John is, if I can just say that. Jason would probably really come out in something risque. John would be a little bit more tamed down, maybe, toned down. But because John's a bit more serious than Peter is.
Well, I
Yeah.
had him on here. I've had Norman Sheridan on here. Actually, I
Okay.
was the first one he did a Zoom with. He got Zoom
Oh,
that day, but he loved the laugh, and
yeah. Yeah.
but nonetheless, it just dawned on me they're both dressed in drag in their movies. There was a lot of humor in Trick or Treat because when he's breaking out of the asylum, there's a lot of humor in there.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. But here's the ticket. You can't do that anymore because you're offending the transgenders. You can't do that. And here's going right back to politics. I mean, there isn't a subject matter you can bring up that doesn't have some recourse today with you can't do it. You're offending someone. You can't go to a Halloween contest, Halloween, not contest, but Halloween party dressed as an Asian or a Black or even an Indian, you know, Buddha. You can't do it. You offend everybody. Everybody's offended. There's just like you said, those four friends just wrote you
Yep.
off. They're offended. They don't know why they're offended. They're offended because they're supposed to be. They're told to be offended. So they're followers. You
Yep.
can't have this gentleman question whether the actress is there for the award at the Academy Awards nomination because she's a great actress or because of her ethnic background. You're not allowed to challenge anybody because they've been indoctrinated. Those four people, and I don't care who they are. They can write me. I'm on Facebook. Those poor people are indoctrinated to think, oh my God, this is my power. I can disown Greg Gilbert for being a racist. They don't even friggin' know the name of the definition of a true racist is not somebody who questions, you know, but we're indoctrinated.
You
Sorry.
know what? If I met Lily Gladstone, I bet she would agree with me. She would
Yeah,
probably prefer to get the award for her talent.
of course.
Yeah, I guarantee
Of
you she would
course.
agree with me.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course.
But today, like they're doing so like I hate the fact that now they're race swapping characters.
Yes,
Like I heard the controversy over what they're doing with Snow White, and I think it's disgraceful.
it
And
is.
they're race swapping characters or they're gender swapping characters, and I'm like, it's funny. Um, when Sylvester Stallone was the one cat was supposed to do Beverly Hills Cop. And I forget what the reason why he didn't do it, but Beverly Hills Cop was originally supposed to be what Cobra became. So
Oh,
Stallone
oh,
went and he did Cobra.
right.
Beverly Hills Cop was ended up being a comedy. Who did they cast? Did they cast a Stallone? No, they casted Eddie Murphy. And you know
Yeah,
what? I tell you something. It had nothing to do with the color of his skin.
nothing. No, no.
Had nothing to do. It was that he just was brilliantly talented, you know? I actually prefer Eddie Murphy's version of the Nutty Professor over Jerry Lewis's. Has nothing to do with the color of the skin. It's just I think
No.
Murphy's version has a lot more layers. I think he's a lot more sympathetic in his performance than Lewis is. And I think Rick Baker's makeup effects were brilliant. I think it was a better film. You know,
Mhm.
when Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy did 48 Hours, I don't
Yeah,
think race played into that. You got a
no.
white actor and a black actor. They both complemented each other beautifully.
Yeah.
You know?
But your point is that we were doing this long ago before we were told to do it.
Yep.
Now you're being ordered to do it. There's a movie coming out on Netflix, How the Gringos Stole Christmas with Robert Rodriguez. I guess it is. Is it Robert Rodriguez? I don't know. But anyway, Lionsgate did it. And they were told they had to hire only Hispanic actors. So where's your diversity? See, it's one-sided over here, and then on this other side, it's ordered. You know, everybody had to be Hispanic to be in that movie. And I thought, why? Why? If we're gonna do diversity, let's do it
Well,
100%.
you got the memo. If you're a white male, it's
Oh,
okay to be racist against you.
Yeah,
even
right.
though
Hmm.
I had nothing to do with what happened long ago,
Right. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. But
right.
if you're a
Yes, I agree.
if you're a white male,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
okay to be racist against you.
yeah,
Here's the
exactly.
thing. Oh, here's another one. The Marvels became one of the biggest flops in MCU history. And
Yeah.
what did Brie Larson and the director and company do? They blamed white men.
Yes,
Guess
they
what?
did.
And
It's
it was
but
and studies showed that it was white men that were the ones that were going to it. So
oh yeah,
where's the women and the indigenous people? Where were they? They were the
where
people
were
they're
they?
preaching to.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Brie Larson, she's a handful. She's always blaming something on somebody else, you know.
Oh, you should get a
But
load of Rachel Ziegler over the Snow White thing. That's embarrassing.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I try to stay, away from that stuff. I don't, I think Brie Larson was one of the luckiest actresses. She got a project. In fact, the project that she got originally was offered to me, and I brought it to Stars. And Gene George turned it down. He said it was too upsetting to be locked in as a hostage to a man. And it was too upsetting. It was extremely timely because it's based on a true story, but it was too upsetting. And of course, she got it done and took scale for it and won the Academy Award. I said to Gene,
Room.
and not
Yep.
too upsetting to make money, I guess, huh? And so people make stupid decisions, but going back to her, that was a lucky break for her because that's did her career, that Academy Award, Uh, but she's to me, she's okay, but she's not great. There's nothing great about her. But she's always bashing men. She bashed uh, you know, I can't think of his name right now. Came in and he also won the best actor that year, and she refused to give him the award because he had settled a case against some girls that he was having an affair with or something. I don't even know, and we don't even know if it's true or not. And I'm sure she doesn't know either. And she refused to give him the award. I mean, unlike Adrian Brody when he won, what took Haley Berry, whoever it was, upside down and kissed her and made fun out of it. And oh, those days are over. You're not allowed to touch a woman without her permission either. Forgot about that. Can't be having fun anymore. I don't.
Uh, and then
You're
of
living
course,
under the thumb.
there's Jennifer Lawrence saying that if it wasn't for her and Hunger Games, they she was the first one to do an action role for women. Like I think it was
Awful.
Sigourney Weaver that said,
Who
"Gee, I
did a
guess she."
big one. And Ida Lupino back in the day was doing action pictures. She even, nobody talks about her because she's dead, but she was directing and doing action pictures. Yeah, and you're quite right. Sigourney Weaver, of course. And then what about Pam? Oh gosh, I'm having a
Pam
very
Grier,
bad. Yeah, I
Uma
guess that
Thurman,
wasn't an action picture. Pam Grier made a living off action pictures.
and one thing that's been thrown at the Brie Larsons and the Rachel Ziegler's that are blaming people for not seeing their movies because of chauvinist men. Well, look at Barbie this year.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. What was the starring role in that? I don't recall it
Yeah,
being a male.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Uh, every excuse in the world, you know. So, um, I get
That's
tired of that.
easy. Easy to point the finger. Easy to point the finger,
I, I, I,
because you can never take blame. That's unheard of.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, the stuff that they wouldn't be able to get away with today.
Yeah,
It's outrageous. And as far as I'm concerned, they can take their politics and shove it up their ass. As far as I'm
I
concerned,
agree. I
you know.
agree too. Politics is not of interest to any art form at all and shouldn't be in there.
Yep.
I totally agree. And making a picture with whomever you want to make it with should be your right.
Yep.
And
Yep. It's
all
your
that's
movie.
trying to be, yeah. So
Are they telling you that you have to work with only Australians when you go to
no, no, no. They do have a high tax credit, but no, we're not under any kind of diversity law regulation over there. And in fact, we're not even under Screen Actors Guild because we're shooting outside of the country. And I prefer to get away from them too. Another nutcase union, if I may say so. This is interesting. People probably don't know this. In Detroit, Michigan, we have the car factories, and they're very highly unionized. And when they go on strike, the union takes care of paying their rents and their mortgages. They assist them so nobody goes bankrupt and broke. Screen Actors Guild, hey, you're on your own. You just got to hold a sign and walk around outside Warner Brothers. Isn't that fun? Oh, and by the way, we'll give you a bottle of water for doing it, plus a shirt that costs us far more money to wear, but it's advertising us. SAG. People are going bankrupt to losing their homes during the strike. They can't pay their rents. California is one of the highest tax. They're at 9.9. Can't even afford groceries. And does SAG help them? No. 5% of the SAG actors make a living. The rest 95 go fend for yourself. And yet, what do they charge? Dues. Did they put a halt to paying dues while the strike was going on? No, you still got to pay your dues and picket too. Big business.
Oh, I thought the funniest one was you weren't allowed to talk about projects at cons and this and that. And I'm like, I know people that weren't even doing their podcast like this during the strike because they felt not. And I was like, it didn't affect me at all. I have one
Yeah,
of my I work at a cleaning company. One of my supervisors asked to come on here, and I
yeah.
had
Oh,
I allowed her. I said, sure. We
yeah.
just
Why
went on
not?
here and
Why not?
like it didn't stop me at all from doing my
Yeah.
show. You're my 99th interview this year. So the
Hmm.
strike didn't stop me at all, know?
But there
But
you go again. That a union who doesn't make you any money, doesn't make you a nickel, can tell people what to do, and they're stupid enough to do it. People uh, don't even understand. On Trick or Treats, you want to go back and hear a piece of history?
yep.
We got called in, Gary Graver and I, to Screen Actors Guild, and they said, we're going to sue you because you have SAG actors. And we didn't pay SAG. We didn't make a deal with SAG. We did it on weekends with private money. And I said, sue us. We're in a right at that time, we were in a right to work state. I said, I'm going to sue you for intruding on my rights. They went, oh, wait, backed off completely. To this day, there's now a rule, and people don't know this. I tell people all the time any SAG actor can do one film a year of a non SAG picture as long as you shoot in a right to work state. And I created that rule with Gary Graver. People don't know it.
Awesome.
People don't know it, but it's there. So during the strike, uh, uh, when Australia first came in with the offer in June, I went to Bob Odenkirk, call me Sal,
I know who
and
he is. Yep.
oh, he's a wonderful actor. What do you do, Mr. Nobody or Nobody,
Yep.
whatever? I mean, it was a high rated picture. I mean, it made a lot of money for Universal. And I said, you don't have to shoot here. You can shoot in Australia. You can come to Australia and shoot there. And he had to go to his lawyers and everything else to make sure that he could do. And I'm going like, why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid? Right? Anyway, so he didn't do it. And now we've got another actor we're in negotiation with, so I can't name him, but he's a star. And he said, hell, I'm going. I don't care.
Hmm.
You know,
I was gonna say with Drive-in Massacre, I forgot to say this woman on the car here. I had her
yeah.
on the show earlier this year,
Oh, did
Janice
you?
Bly.
Yeah.
Yep,
Janice Bly, that's true.
I,
Gosh. She's in
I
Palm
had her
Springs
on.
now. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. She's a riot, isn't she? She's really funny. Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
her on back in February, I believe,
Oh,
and
really? Yeah,
yep, talking about Hills Have Eyes, and she was in this,
that's
and
right.
she talked about that. I've had a few people on from Drive-In Massacre, and think I'd never heard of this movie until I just happened to just see it in Sunrise Video.
Really? Ah, no
And
kidding.
yep, and I was like,
Wow.
we don't have drive-ins here. We haven't had drive-ins here
Yeah,
since the mid '80s, and I was like, oh, this is a '70s slasher film. I'm like, okay. I just took a
yeah,
chance and bought this, and I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Like I said, 4
Oh,
interviews from it.
yeah. It's a
I got
lot of fun. It's funny. It's yeah, another one that has some humor to it. Yeah.
I got to get
Hmm.
Stu Siegel on here at some point, you know. So
Gosh, he's a hard one. He's a difficult one to reach. I
I
don't know.
did have
He's
an
really,
email. I had an email conversation with him, you know. He was going through something, but I think he sounded interested,
yeah,
but
he's a nice guy. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
He's a great guy. I have nothing but great things to say about Stu Siegel and John Goff and even Peter Jason, even though I was calling him Jason Peters. I don't know. This is what happens,
I
when you
should
get
I should
older. It's like,
I should see if I can get Peter Jason on here.
yeah, you should.
Yeah.
He's
Do you
on
still
Facebook and he just wrote to me something on Facebook, you know.
Do you
Yeah.
still have that outfit, that white outfit?
No.
No? From
I
you don't
wish
have
I could
that?
say
No?
no, no, no. Those days are over.
Those days are over? You don't have did you trick or treat this Halloween? Have trick or treaters this Halloween?
We're not allowed to trick or treat anymore because of all the uh poison in the candy.
Or
You
kids
got to
that
go to what we do here, at least now California, I was out there and they still do it like in the richier areas, like Hancock Park and also um, in Studio City. And there's some areas that you can that are safe, that are have their own private security and stuff. So the candy is not damaged or tainted or anything. But in Florida, what they do is they have it at malls and everybody in the mall, the kids go around from store to store and they're giving candy because you just can't guarantee, not that our area is a very safe area, but still you can't say you can go to that area, but not that area. So it's a bit confusing.
did you go
The
around the
whole
mall
world
and get
has
your
changed,
candy?
Greg. Nobody has fun like we did.
No.
Nobody, you
I,
know?
I was born in 1972 and I'm going to tell you we're in the worst of times right now.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
Did you go to the mall and trick or treat?
No, I was in LA. I was in
Oh.
LA. I actually went to a restaurant called Victoria's where I have all my readings on all my scripts. I don't know if I
Hmm.
told you, but I time all my scripts out and I record it. I have actors read all the parts and then I listen to it and I can figure out what's not working and all that. And I change things after that. And so I have that at Victoria's because he has a room in the back
Hmm.
that I helped build, by the way. And because we shot Beverly Hills Pizza Girls there. We made a lot
Hmm.
of money on that. And so he built we did the whole movie in his restaurant. So he built a separate room and he calls it my room because I wrote the script. And we were there on Halloween at the restaurant. We had a lot of kooky people coming in and so forth, but you know, Yeah, I prefer my trick or treat is with a glass of red wine. So candy is for me passe, and we have red wine at Victoria's, and we have a lot of laughs about the good old days, and a lot of people show up, a lot of actors and stuff. Mhm.
Yeah, I was in Toronto on Halloween, so
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
fun.
another thing about here in Fredericton. They
Yeah,
they like to tell me how dangerous Toronto is. And I'm like, you know what? I saw Five Nights at Freddy's at a theater on
yeah,
Eglinton, and I filmed myself walking away from the theater because it was at midnight when it got out. And I was just, like I like to blog some of my trip, so because I love it there. And I was just talking about the movie. I never felt unsafe at all,
yeah.
you know?
Again, it's a control factor. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a control. I mean, people are still walking around Times Square in New York. I mean, Halloween, and also just last week, I guess Kiss was there. The band Kiss, Gene Simmons,
Hmm.
um, and there were a lot of people. I mean, talk about diversity. There you go. If you see those street scenes, it's every ethnic in the world, and there was no crime whatsoever. Why?
Hmm.
Because the people are in numbers. If a guy comes up with a gun, somebody's going to jump him. That's the kind of thing we have to get back to. It shouldn't be Kiss that creates this. It should be every human being. We used to have red brigades and berets and who would keep people safe, and they were banned. They were banned by the government for people to stay safe. And now we have wide open borders.
Yeah. That's
I
not
mean,
corrupt, is it?
yeah, that's not that's for a vote. That's the only reason I have those borders open is that for a vote.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we keep going back to politics because, as I pointed out earlier, there isn't anything you can discuss today that politics doesn't have a finger in. Nothing.
Well, one of
Banning
the,
this, banning that. Look, I don't know if you heard about. Oh, this is great. Biden just passed a kill switch for cars, even though he said, well, if they're drunk, then we can just shut the car off. Well, okay. And if the car runs into the people outside the street, it's still going to kill. I mean, they don't think things through. A kill switch. What if you avoid hitting a moose or a deer, and a drunk driver hit him with the kill switch?
yep.
There's no logic to any of this. Nobody thinks it all the way to the end. I'm sorry, I won't buy that car. I will not buy a car that somebody can just flick a switch off, and I can't any longer have, authority over that car. That car has authority over me. And if
I
I
feel
get
like,
hurt or hurt somebody,
I feel like the mark of the beast is roaring in very close.
yes,
Yep.
right. That's the
Yep.
truth.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask, you don't have to give the details because, it's upcoming projects, but I think you said you wrote a couple of screenplays. What
Yeah.
kind of genres are you delving into?
Well, the one we're doing is an action thriller about corruption,
Hmm.
of course. Uh, at the tip of my tongue, political danger, cops going bad, governed by government, and one cop decides that he's not going to go for it anymore, and he teams up with an ex-boxer, and the ex-boxer's taking dives to pay off his mother's bills and so forth, and they team up. The most two unlikeliest people team up to take on a whole town. So that, and I added also in the last rewrite uh, that the person that's running the town, who's like a mafioso type person, he's actually giving loans to people to do drugs and then having those people sign their kids over to him when they can't pay him back for those markers, those loans. And that's how he keeps his power at having these kids turn illegal with him. And don't think that's not going on. I learned that firsthand from a girl who told me about it, that it happened to her.
Oh, I
So
believe it.
it's a very timely subject matter, and although we don't spend enough time on it, it's happening. People are buying people's kids. And I think the sound of freedom touched upon that. Not that people were buying the kids, but they were kidnapping the kids. But still, there are a lot of people that are selling their kids. So I try to bring a little bit of education into, even though it's an action, thriller. And then the other picture I wrote is based upon the Pennsylvania grand jury testimony about these kids that were injured by priests and clergymen. And what we discovered in this, Jake Tabor also was the one who turned me on to it. He's a CNN reporter. Is they were moving the cardinals around when they got caught, and they would move them to another country, not just another state, another country, so they could do it over there. I find it amazing. But anyway, I had interviewed a set of twins, and one of the twins hung himself
Oh.
because the parents took the side of the clergyman and not the side of the twins. And this twin now has two personalities. So we kind of use him as a foundation where one side of him is good and the other side is kind of evil because he wants to get even. So he goes off on a rampage, and you can't decide if this is something he really does or if this is all in his mind to satisfy the hurt he has and the pain. So that we've had a lot of difficulty with. And I say this to everybody, we can make movies about Hitler, that's okay. We can make movies about serial killers, that's okay. But we can't make movies that educate about what clergy people did to the kids in this country. That's not allowed.
You know what I find funny? There's this big thing about ban guns, ban guns, ban guns. I even went so far as, oh, gee, the Looney
Right.
Tune cartoons can't have guns and this and that.
Yeah.
I was at the theater last night and I saw a movie called Silent Night. And Joel Kinnaman does a good job in the movie, but the movie's not that good. Plays a guy whose son is killed in a drive-by shooting between two gangs, and he ends up getting injured, and he takes when he comes through out of his coma, he takes a year to build himself up and prepare himself because he's on Christmas Eve. He's going to get even revenge on
Hmm.
that gang, and all through this movie all these gang members are just like your standard thugs, and it's all bang, 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 bang. I said, where are the gun laws here? You know?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's like, boy, they preach about it at the time, and then when they think it's safe, and I'm not preaching against violence, but I think if you're going to have violence, like I remember cruising was big in controversy, speaking of freaking at the
Yeah.
time. But I
Oh,
mean
yeah.
the violence
Yeah.
in that, there was a point to it.
Yes, there was.
There
Yes.
wasn't there was no
Yes.
the violence in Silent Night was just gratuitous for the point of it. And I was like, wow, you lost me. You lost
Yes.
me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, because of sensationalism, and a lot of distributors still, unfortunately, think sensationalism will sell a picture.
Hmm.
Not done the way that you're describing it, I don't think. Although it did get into the theaters, so somebody thought it was going to make some money.
Yeah.
People like horror pictures, people like to be scared. Um, and that's the other thing, not to go back to politics again, but I will. Um, How did the gangs get formed? By letting illegals in who brought their baggage with them,
Hmm.
gave money to the mothers. The mothers didn't take care of the kids, dropped them in the street. And I'll tell you who was a genius at this was Charlie Manson. If you look at the last scene and, Manson, many of the Manson movies, Helter Skelter, talks about that. It's going to happen. He says, you dropped me in the street and this was the outcome of it. But you haven't learned and you're still dropping kids in the street who are living out of the garbage cans. And that's going to take the country down.
Yep.
Yeah, you had a guy smarter than the whole damn police force. So nobody learned. Nobody learned. And hey, like I said, none of us are saved by this. The drive-by shootings, always an innocent victim gets killed. And where are the politicians cleaning that up? Why aren't they cleaning that up? They're hiding like it doesn't exist. It does exist.
Oh, the criminals are the ones getting hired. I guarantee you the job I
Yes.
lost, I guarantee they probably hire them. I got no doubt.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
No, if
Anyway,
I don't trust the system anymore.
nobody does. It's not just you. It's not Canada. It's not US. It's all over. It's all over. The only areas it's not happening in really are the areas where they do, like in Saudi Arabia. If you steal, they cut your hand off still. You rape somebody, we'll shoot you. I mean, and nobody does it. It's like everybody needs a daddy to tell them, don't do it, or here's the consequences. But then who wants
Yeah.
to live in Saudi Arabia? I mean, that's a bit too extreme. But yeah, it is working. You don't have drive-by shootings in Saudi Arabia. You don't have drug abuse in Saudi Arabia. Hell, you can barely get alcohol in Saudi Arabia. You have to really be well connected to have alcohol in Saudi Arabia. People don't get divorced in Saudi Arabia.
Cheapers to deal with society, we need alcohol.
Yeah, really. That's true.
I was
That's
gonna
true.
say, I see your tree behind you. You get your Christmas tree up?
I got it up, baby. I got it up. I don't know. Is it on? Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
Is my deer on? I got a deer at the top, but I don't always turn it on because I have to lift up to turn it.
You know what? I don't have anything up because, I told Skittles, my cat, to decorate. And
Oh,
Skittles yawned and
oh, he'll.
stretched and rolled over
Yep.
and went back to sleep. I'm like,
Yeah, that's it. Yep. You don't need it.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, we got a few more minutes and then I got to tie it down because I got another phone call in about 10 minutes. Got to get my head on straight.
well, I'm waiting for you
But,
to do the movie with John F. Golf and
yeah.
Peter Jason and Drag.
Yeah. Yeah, but I told you then I'll get banned. I'll have to do that. I have to hire some real people like the politician that works under Biden, who you can tell is a man dressed as a girl. I have to hire him or her, the he, she, they, them, I don't know, whatever it is. That's another one. I'm totally confused about that. Like you got to put pronouns next to your name. I
Oh,
was
japers.
amazed. I went to Flawless, the website Flawless for AI, and they got the executives, he, they, pronouns next to their name. I'm going, is this a joke or is this like somebody really took this seriously? I guess. I don't know.
All I know is I'm a white guy and
Yeah,
it's my fault everything happened.
you might as well just take blame for it. And that shuts off the conversation, right? They can't argue any further,
And to
right?
those people that want to blame me, a white guy, for everything, even the stuff I didn't do, I say to those people, kiss my ass.
That's
It's like,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Kiss my ass.
yep. I pay my taxes, I pay my rent, I obey my laws. whatever, I'm tired of this whole racist thing is okay. You're supposed to learn learn from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, yeah. S- You know what? They can virtual signal all they want. Um, I'm not following their rules. They'll get nothing more
Yeah.
than an extended middle finger from me.
Right. I
I'm
agree.
okay with associating with anybody at all. I don't care
Yeah.
what race, what gender, whatever. I don't care who they are. I got no problem with
Right.
being friends with anybody. But the moment that it starts getting pushed on me, I have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's good that you do because that means you care.
Yep. So there you go. So yeah. Well, anyway, I wish you luck when you go to Australia and
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
yep.
And I'll keep you in tune. And if you decide to do anything like what we talked about earlier, we don't need to elaborate here. Just give me a shout. I'll have a read over it. And I'm pretty good at how to promote a case. So pretty good. I just won. I'm not supposed to. But
That's
I
okay.
I won a
You
big
don't
case
have to.
against a big bank. A big bank. A
Hmm.
bank. Just won it.
Well,
Mm.
I might have to present mine to you because I don't trust
Mm.
it. So that
Yeah.
it's
All
yep.
right. No.
Uh,
You know. Yeah. Just a fact. All right. So that's great. And I guess we're at the hour and a half mark. So we'll
yep.
do it again. I won't be hiding from you, that's for sure. You know where to find me. Everybody does. I've had the same address for what, 35 years. So anyway, as I tell everybody, if you need me, here I am.
Well, you know what? It was an honor to have you on here again, and
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy to meet you at the Plaster Rock screening, and babe to
Hmm.
make this connection. So
Hmm.
yep. But anyway, I want to wish you a fantastic and Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing nothing but sitting here and cooking like I did Thanksgiving. We have my significant other's daughter uh, is living here with her kids, and so I cook for everybody. So it'll be nice. That's
There
it.
you go.
Nothing special.
There you
Yeah,
go. Well, before I let you go, I'd love a plug for my show.
great.
Just state your name
Yes.
and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Jackie Giroux here listening to Greg Gilbert's Marathon Paradise. And is he hot?
Well, Skittles thinks so. Oh, no, he's asleep. He doesn't think I'm hot right now. Yeah. Well, anyway, you have yourself a blessed
Thank
day.
you. You
Uh,
too. Thank you, Greg. We'll do it again. Thank you. Bye
absolutely. Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.